morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Ivy Tech Northeast Campus for this post-secondary career pathways event. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. We're excited about our agenda today. There's been some wonderful planning and a lot of hard work behind bringing all of you together, and we're excited about the folks who were able to join us today between our K-12 higher education, nonprofit, industry representatives. So thank you for being here this morning. My name is Josh Wenning. I'm the Executive Director for the Region 8 Education Service Center, one of the partners today. I've been asked to help kind of MC the day a little bit to kind of help keep us moving through the agenda, to keep us on time, on track, so that we can obviously respect everyone's time, have a meaningful day, and make sure that this is a great event for everyone who's involved. You are here today as an important component to the success of our students and industries in Northeast Indiana. Educators, employers, nonprofits, industry leaders, government representatives, and community partners are convening today to lead our region forward as a model for successful partnerships and successful use of post-secondary career pathways. Our goal is simple yet challenging, which is align K-12 and higher education resources to the needs of employers to maximize career pathway opportunities for students. Post-secondary career pathways are needed now more than ever as global competition, a rapidly changing job market, and economic uncertainties make planning for our students' futures difficult. A recent Gallup survey found that only 49% of 5th through 12th grade students identified as being engaged in school, while 47% saw their futures as being hopeful, so again, less than half. In fact, the survey found that students become less engaged as they move through school. Part of the reason for these results is the inability for some students to have the opportunity to do what they do best on a regular basis, or to pursue areas of interest and natural talent. Career pathways provide the avenue for student engagement by laying out a structured plan for success, leading to not only jobs, but to a career. This plan inspires hope, and it allows students to create goals in order to achieve their dreams. So what's our purpose of the day? It should begin with what author Simon Sinek laid out as our why. What's our cause, our belief, our purpose? Our why is what we believe students who fully engage and connect with career pathway resources will maximize their college and career readiness, quite simply. We know that if they take advantage of what we can structure for them, this can maximize their own talents, maximize our resources, and also our collective resources. The what and the how of how we do that is by seeking these collaborative solutions. We're here as collaborative partners from a variety of sectors, a variety of industries. Again, from education, business, and nonprofit stakeholders in assisting students with career pathways. The how of what we do is through the leading of convening sessions just like this one. So while each of you come today with your own why you do what you do, the purpose behind your organization, the purpose for what drives you when you wake up in the morning, I would challenge you to take advantage of this time together, to be an active participant. That's going to be really important. You're going to get out of today what you're willing to put in. If you engage with if our education partners engage with our business partners and vice versa, it's going to be a much more meaningful day for you individually and also for us collaboratively and for your team. I hope that you're able to leverage the ideas and the collective knowledge in this event to do something unique in your schools, in your organizations, to create new partnerships, to imagine resource opportunities for your students that do not currently exist. Leave today inspired to help students maximize their potential through post-secondary career pathways.
So if you all could please introduce yourselves and your company and talk a little bit about the work that you do.
My name is Jade Painter. I'm with Wygan Construction. We're a general contractor here in Fort Wayne. We self-perform masonry, carpentry, and concrete. My title is Director of Field Operations, so I'm in charge of hiring all field personnel, keeping equipment and logistics moving for the company.
My name is Daryl Esterline. I represent sheet metal workers in Northeast Indiana, as well as president of Northeast Indiana Building and Construction Trades. What we do, We typically install the systems, HVAC and mechanical systems, in large commercial and industrial projects throughout Northeast Indiana as sheet metal workers. Thank you.
Bruce Watson. I'm Director of Facilities for Fort Wayne Metals. We're a wire manufacturer out by the airport. We make wire for medical devices. Part of my job is facilities, is purchasing and expanding, remodeling, growing the company, which is painful because we're growing a lot. But the other thing I deal with is, as we're growing, the maintenance reports to me, so we need technical people for maintenance jobs, and as we're growing and adding buildings, I need to hire contractors in the skilled trades to build our buildings, remodel our buildings, and that's where we're seeing the gap. Also involved with Mark and I with a group called Gateway Coalition, which is a group of businesses that have been working with some educators and with Rick to try to promote the skilled trades in schools and as an option instead of a four-year college.
All right, I'm Mark Webb. I'm President and CEO of Quick Cut. And we do steel fabrication, which is all-inclusive of laser cutting, forming, welding, blasting and painting. We make parts all the way to products for clients. So we're kind of a full-range manufacturer.
Wonderful, thank you. And so, as a reminder to everybody, you have these passport networking session handout, and it's really just a document that's a guide for you, and it's kind of a structure for you to jot down some of your notes on what your takeaways are from each of these sessions. Some people like to take notes during, some people don't want to. So it's really just kind of a tool for you if you want to use it, but certainly don't feel like you have to. It is going to help you with later planning exercises you do during the lunchtime hour. And I should say, as we begin, just to frame what the purpose of the networking sessions is, the idea is that for everybody who's in the room, from this time that you have with representatives of manufacturing and construction, that after you leave today, you ideally will understand more about what the sectors are, what they actually do. Because what we hear from folks all the time who are advising young people is, we just don't know enough. We know more about those 2 and 4 year pathways, but we don't know what it's leading to. And so we want to know more about manufacturing and construction, so we can, as an example, so we can be more informed when we're advising our students. So to our speakers, I think I'll ask you first just a framing question before we dive into your specific sectors and the opportunities within them. Why did you make the time available to come today, aside from maybe somebody strong-armed you into coming on a Friday morning? Why do you think an event like today is important for Allen County?
I think it's purely because there's a shortage in the workforce. And we recognize that we had a problem about 2 years ago, and we knew that we were too late and couldn't catch up. So I feel like it's very important to do that. I feel like one of the biggest constraints is that young people don't know how to get into the construction trades. They don't know the conduit or the pathway to do so. And quite frankly, they don't know a lot about the different kinds of construction trades and what all is offered. A construction worker is not a one-size-fits-all. We're very specialized in our trades, and providing education and conduit for those young people to get there, I think will help relieve this situation. So that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, just jumping on with what Jade had to say, it's been my experience over 3 decades in the sheet metal industry, and certainly being around with building trades, that for so long it was good enough to tell some family members or some other people in the industry, and what we would know is it's a brotherly trade, and it kind of stays as such. And well, those days are gone. I'm not getting enough traffic up my sidewalk for applications into the apprenticeship program to meet the demands that we're going to be faced with this economic expansion that we seem to be going through right now in Northeast Indiana. So to meet the demands, and also to help change the message from, again, a 3-decade-old message of everybody's got to be preparing for college. Everybody's, if that's just that was the message I got in the late 80s on through up to just coming out of this recession. Now we're trying to change that message, and I'm trying to help change that message for a second plan A. Thank you.
For my situation, it's been a hard time hiring. when I can hire skilled maintenance people, they're in their 50s. I'm going to lose half my maintenance department in the next 5 to 10 years, and there is nobody coming out of high school willing or able to go into this. And so years ago, probably 5 years ago, started pushing on this. We're doing some internal training to try to get people, but we've lost the connection to the hands-on in the schools. When I was in the junior high school period before middle school, and when you had a 6 or 9 week session of wood shop and metal shop and drafting and home ec and art, they were different skills that at least introduced you to something. If you enjoyed it, you could follow it up. If you didn't, you just had a short period to deal with it. So there were things that people liked and didn't like, but we've lost all that now. And there's things out there that would interest the kids, they just haven't been exposed. I won't elaborate too much, but with all the computers and stuff, kids are good at playing with them. They're also can be good at fixing them, and that's what my machines are running. You talk about robots, they're all computers, and the engineers can design them. They can't build them, they can't reprogram them, they can't fix them. So that's where we're going to need these people. Even with automation getting up, the unskilled labor will go down, but the skilled labor, $30, $40 an hour before benefits. That's not a bad job. And if we can get some of these kids in that, if they enjoy it with working with their hands, that's a more satisfied workforce.
To me, it's a mind shift. I'm passionate about. I want my kids to come back here and work in Fort Wayne. I want them to be in this area. I want them to be around me. We need to create opportunities for our entire community, and part of that is, the manufacturing and the trades and a lot of these things that we're talking about. So it's got to be a mindset shift from educators, parents, students to understand, there's what opportunities are there that are out there. We all were in that area probably where you got to go to college. You got to go to college. It's putting the links together between what businesses are looking for, so that the schools can educate to what is needed out there, and it's creating that link and doing what Bruce kind of talked about is how do we get their hands on things so they know, hey, this is what I want to do. When I leave high school, I know exactly what I want to do, and I'm either going to go to college, which is fine, or I'm going to go and learn a skill or a trade, or I've already learned some of that. I could come out and start working and make just as much and not be in debt for years to come. So.
Great. I think those were perfect comments to kick us off and really frame kind of what's at the heart of the conversation today, and really why I think a number of us are here, or most of us are here. So you touched on a few things that we can go deeper on before the end if we have time. But I want to make sure that we get straight to the heart of the matter, which is more information about your pathways. So I think we'll start with manufacturing first, just so we can reverse the order a little bit. And just so you all know, we haven't had time to talk and prep, but feel free just to have it be conversational, and you don't have to go in order every time. So within manufacturing, what are the most important things for the community to understand about manufacturing, for kids to understand about manufacturing, and what opportunities are available within it?
My thought is with manufacturing, it's always that mindset of, oh, this is a dirty job, right? Everybody thinks, well, that's my self-worth is not going to be what it would be if I was this high-end, go into this high-paying, super high worth job. Manufacturing is completely different than it used to be from what it's envisioned by so many people. Typically, the parents, I would say, is more than anything, is because that's what they were used to when they were exposed to that in their early years. So, that's one of the big obstacles I think that we've got to overcome.
Great, and then, and can you elaborate a little bit on the kinds of opportunities, specifically, like the kinds of jobs that are available, and particularly those that might be going unfilled right now? For the sector?
Well, for our company, for example, we need somebody that can work on the computer and draw and design, program, CNC machines, but just computer numerically controlled machines. All of that is done offline, 3D. I mean, it's really high tech. Manufacturing is so high tech compared to what it used to be, even when I first started 20 some years ago. And so that's one of those jobs that's really a tech job. Even the operator on the floor, he's got to be able to tune the machine in to run perfectly for the parts. It's not a job where he's there inhalating smoke all the time, and all those type of things. That's a misnomer, anymore.
And Mark, is that an associate's degree at Ivy Tech? Or is that
No.
not even a degree required?
Not even a degree required. We can have somebody come in, and they can make $15 to $20 an hour, doing that. Just which is in these days sometimes that's good money compared to, at least to start. And there's also welding, which is an opportunity as well. But that person's going to have to go to somewhere like Ivy Tech and get a degree. But we're talking about, we've even trained guys on the job. So, I mean, businesses are willing to invest in students, people, to actually, help them. So, sorry.
So I have a question for you guys. I'm thinking about if you are interviewing, having applicants come in, what are you looking for? What are the qualifications that you do look for?
I know for sheet metal workers, as well as most all the 18 different crafts with building trades, we do have some specific requirements. One is because of the insurance policies of a lot of our contractors, 18 years old will always be a requirement. A driver's license, because a lot of the first opportunities might be driving a company truck or picking up some fittings and dropping them off at a job site and this or that. So a valid driver's license. Drug testing is very important in our industry because of the safety and what we can offer the end user as well as everybody. It's nice to go home every day at the end of work. So drug testing is a requirement, as well as a high school diploma and/or equivalency. So basically 4 or 5 requirements to come into the construction trades. Yeah.
For us, the things that we're looking for are knowledge. The STEMs classes are great, and some of the soft classes. Written, oral communication. You have to be able to write either an email or notes to people. Communicate. Everything's team-based anymore. I noticed in some of the going out to New Tech Academy, they do a lot of team-based work out there. You have to be able to communicate with your team and feel comfortable doing it. Computer skills. I'm looking for mostly maintenance guys, like I said, but we also need quality technicians. When maintenance guys go out to work on a machine, they don't take a manual and drawings. They take an iPad with them. We can pull everything up on the machine from an iPad. So computer knowledge is fantastic. Math, the one I'm going to push continuously that is not offered in any school, electricity. When we're dealing with computers and robots and cell phones and gaming systems, what's the basis for all this? Electricity. It's not even taught in high schools. So that's a skill that would be fantastic. So for the most part, a high school graduate would not have the skills I need. If they had a good mechanical aptitude and were able to come in and willing to learn, we have brought outside courses, Ivy Tech, Freedom Academy. We bring them in and do training, and we just had a class of 9 people graduate and get a certified industrial maintenance technician certificate. So if they stay with Fort Wayne Metals, great. They've got a basis, we can build from that, and their wages go up as they get more and more skilling. If nothing else, if they decide to leave, they have a certificate to take with them, and they're more marketable in the community. So that's one of our goals.
I'll add to that.
Question. So how much on-the-job training is involved in each of these jobs? How much on-the-job training?
I'll say with the sheet metal workers and or building trades specifically, the 18 different trades, when you enter an apprenticeship program, and I'm going to talk specifically about sheet metal workers, it's a 5-year apprenticeship program. It is, and it comes with a 2-year associate's degree with no student debt. It consists of 9,200 hours of on-the-job and in the classroom training provided by our employers and our members?
Ours is, I can't give a definite date, but when it comes to, I'll use one example. We had a high school intern last year, and he decided to stay through the winter and is now going full-time as soon as he graduates. He worked through his high school or senior year and took the Freedom Academy classes we offered. So he has his certificate now. He can come in, that was 9 months of training. But when it comes to on-the-job training, it's going to be years because it's continuous learning. He start out at a PM entry position and then learn the machines doing preventive maintenance with the power off, things like that. And then he'll work with a maintenance technician that will school him on how to work with it when it's a running machine and to get it back up. And then we have further advanced courses where we send people out to our Mitsubishi makes controllers. We send a Mitsubishi class. Other ones we send them out. So for us, you can't put a date on it, but probably 3 to 5 years to get up to a level where you're truly a good maintenance person, but it's continuous learning after that.
And I'll add to that we have to train almost to what we have at our facility because there's different manufacturers of equipment, things like that. So that basic understanding is probably the number one thing. And it takes years to really get somebody up to speed. But I want to add just a couple things before that question about what students need. From a math standpoint, they don't need to know trigonomic function. They need to know how to take decimals to fractions and do all those types of things that really are used every day in life, and focus on those things that are going to really give them the benefits. And then also problem solving. Right now you Google it, right? And that's how you solve your problem. You figure out how somebody else did it. How do you solve things yourself and go through that mindset of figuring that out? And then one of the last things I had, which is some schools I know have, is how to budget personally, your own finances, right? The biggest thing that keeps an employee from being productive is worrying about their own financial issues. And if they learn how to do that, because a lot of them come from homes that they don't get that type of input, and just taking that off of their mind opens up their mind to learn and to grow and be a productive employee. So.
Mark, can I follow up on something you mentioned earlier about engaging the parents? Because at the Indiana Youth Institute, we do a survey, and this year of whatever response, 4,000 responses we had from youth workers, we said, what's one of your top priorities? And they said, we need more parents engaged and educated. And hearing the same thing from you, that their perceptions of industry or their perceptions of manufacturing are holding those kids back. So how do you all, what can we all do to help engage the parents and change their mindsets? Because I think a lot of folks are working with the kids, but if the parent disconnect is there, we're still gonna struggle.
We've done a couple things. One, with the coalition, we've gone out to high schools for college and career days and set up as a Gateway Coalition as businesses and contractors and tried to show parents that there's other options. And amazing enough, at one of the area elite high schools, several parents came up and said, my child's not going to college. What can you offer them? And so there is some understanding with some parents, but who can do it, we don't know. We've had several counselors from different school systems come through manufacturing and come to construction sites to see the difference so they can firsthand say, hey, it's not as bad as you think it is. But even with that, I could ask you the same question. I know when my kids were in school, you go to a parents' day and the school has 500-600 kids and there's 20 parents here walking around talking. How can any of us get the parents involved? I don't know. We try.
Well, here's my question. It's back to you guys. Where do you get to interact with the parents to be able to send that message that, okay, here's what we do. We've got all these college prep courses, right? I think that's kind of what parents want to hear, right? Do we ever talk about here's the other, here's the full range of what we can offer or show to you? I guess that's the question is, has the emphasis always been on the one and not on the other. So that can you guys change that shift and ask for us to come in and even talk when there are parents in the room?
I'm going to jump in with a thought for you. I said I work for Ivy Tech, but I spent 20 years in the Hillenbrand in Batesville until 2 years ago in manufacturing. And we face the same dilemma. They still do, but I think to a lesser degree today than what we did. We looked at the students and the parents in distinctly this way. Where are they? Kids are in school, and they're influenced by all of you. So things like teacher and counselor externships, 1 week externships in a place of employment. In southeastern Indiana last summer, we had one person from each Ivy Tech campus and one person from every high school but one, 24 high schools, this one, who served a one week externship in manufacturing, principally manufacturing, but a couple other companies. That really helped counselors. Then sort of embedding ourselves with the schools has helped. But then, having been on the employer side of this, we found it a real challenge. When will enough parents show up at school? We invite them, right? You all face that all the time. They want to show up. We know where they're captive. They're captive at the place of employment. One of the things we started doing at Hillenbrand, just a thought for employers, is the former president of the company started inviting employers or employees during the day to hear about the kinds of jobs their kids might consider going forward. Guess what? When it's your employer and it's during the day, and you're invited by the president to show up. And so people would come in, and not just manufacturing, right? But come in and talk about, the person from the hospital. Hey, here's the things in healthcare. Did you know your kids don't have to go 4-year school? By the way, most don't, or many don't. And just laid out some of those. So we started this thing. So where are the parents? Because it's so tough to get them right after school or something else like that into an environment. So anyway, just throwing that out, and
It helps.
it helps a lot,
We're a very family-oriented company, and well, sometimes too family-oriented. I have 2 sons. A daughter used to work there. She went regional partnership. Brother-in-law, nephew, ex-wife, all working out together. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's great to get the parents involved, but if we can't, we have to get our kids involved. And in the fall, Ivy Tech did a program here for students, and they had all the business representatives. GM was here, brought a brand new truck, playing music loud. The kids loved it. The kids loved it. But what they walked away from that was, and there were all other sorts of business and industries represented, they walked away knowing I don't have to go to college and I can get a job making great money. That has to be offered every single year. And and schools have to be willing to bring kids. It's that simple. And schools have to put money into transporting the kids to come because they can't do it after school. I'm at a school where our kids don't drive. They don't have driver's license. And the number one reason they don't get a driver's license is because they can't afford a car. And that's a huge issue for my kids. So, we've got to bring them places. So I am doing the externship this summer as a school counselor, and I've already talked to Mark. Mark's getting me connected with my industries to go visit. But my goal at the end is to have contacts with enough industries, and I'm going to take 4 hours or a full day. I'm going to rent a bus or get a bus from the school corporation, and I'm going to take 30 kids, and we're going to go from industry to industry to industry to industry. My husband's in construction. He knows there are not enough workers. So, that's the way we're going to get the kids involved. I'm probably never going to get to those parents because I can't. I spent 26 years trying to get a hold of these parents, and the only time that they care is when it's the last week of school as a senior and their kid's not passing English. It's the only time they care.
So just to piggyback on that, so arguably Ivy Tech, so I'll kind of toot our own horn, but we piloted this year, we called them iCareer events. It was
Right.
really just an opportunity to,
Yep.
we heard what schools wanted, those opportunities to bring kids and move, as we say, move the abstract to concrete. How do they conceptualize what that looks like sitting in the classroom unless they go touch it, feel it, smell it? They take that back, and all of a sudden now they conceptualize when you're talking about them about a career work, they've seen it.
Yeah.
And now they know what they're working towards, but
Yeah.
also what they're at risk of losing. They don't want to miss out on that opportunity. So iCareer events are something that we've done and partnered with a lot of schools. We love those events, and we're looking to continue growing those because we had 6 events and had over 562 kids on campus through 6 events. And we're looking at growing those now to the point of having about 150 students at our iCareer events, which will start in the fall. And we target about 6 to 8 different programs to be able to provide those avenues for kids, just schools to bring kids on the campus just to see and feel it so they have a better idea when they go back. So when you guys are telling them about these opportunities, they have that visual and they've experienced it. So.
Right. And they have to see what it means to work in, because they even think it's dirty. They even think it's hard work. And I'm sorry, this generation doesn't want to work hard. All they want to do is play on their phones. I mean, your comment about they need to know how to fix the computer as much as play on it. Literally, that's all they want to do. We see them every day. They want to just play on their computers. They want to have their phone 24/7 on Snapchat and social media. They have to understand that life is about work. I'm sorry. So you got to understand what it means to work hard, but that it's not necessarily dirty, ugly, awful.
We don't work hard, and I've probably taken 50 counselors in the area through, some of them as groups, some of them singly, and first thing everybody walks out there and go, wow, you could eat off the floor. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't, but okay. But when they look at the jobs, and when I take the kids through there too, we've taken busloads of kids, you can see we're air conditioned, windows, high bright lights. We don't work hard, you work smart. And that's what we push our employees and the kids for. You need the intelligence and how to work, and not necessarily the muscle anymore. I'm sorry.
I'll add on to that real quick. Everything you said is exactly true about this generation. The thing that doesn't get said about this generation is, call them what you will, they are efficient. They can find information quickly. They can run scenarios in their head quickly. We have to find a way to use that. We have to find a way to use that. And whoever does will be very, very successful.
Just an idea. So the latest report I saw on Generation Z, which are the kids we're talking about, they're on 9 different screens or devices every 3 minutes. They can do that. They like to work in those spaces, the 9 different devices every 3 minutes. So how do you continually engage them in those opportunities when that's what they're doing? Millennials and generation baby boomers and Generation Z or Ys are a lot different, but 9 different screens every 3 minutes.
We just have a couple minutes, so I want to make sure to ask you all this question before you go on to the next room. But what are the some of these ideas have come up already, but what are specific ways that schools and community partners can connect with your companies as far as externships, or you coming to school to do presentations and bringing groups of kids to do tours? Can you just kind of give the menu of ways that some folks in the room can reach out to you after today?
Work one, Gateway Coalition. Get with Rick. We have a group of people, businesses. We will speak to students. We've spoke to 1,000 students last year, probably 3,000 this year in schools. We've had counselors come through, businesses for exposure. We can do what you want to. We have construction people, we have manufacturing, fabrication, everything. So get a hold of him. Something can be set up to do anything you want.
Great. And Rick, that you're referring to, is Rick Ferentz, and he is actually in your group, but he had to leave for a little bit to make a board presentation, but he's coming back, and there'll be chances to connect with him at least during lunch, if not before, since he's actually in your group.
The comment that I'll make, and I know this is the most difficult thing with students, is if you could get the students out of the school into different businesses throughout the community just to go and open their eyes, 2 things. One is it's going to say, wow, here's look at all the different things that I could do. Second is wow, there's a lot of opportunities in my own community. I don't have to go away to college and then not come back, and I got to go somewhere else. You ask these students what businesses are in Fort Wayne, they have no idea other than a fast food joint or something like. I mean, they don't know. We don't tell them what is going on in our own community. There's parents that don't even know. They just go to work and come home. What do we have in Fort Wayne to offer? We have so much more than people realize. It's amazing. So how do we get that message out? And that, you know, with the push we have in Fort Wayne, it's exciting. But our biggest issue is not having the workforce come back to help grow the community.
And so ways that school or community partners can connect with you all?
With sheet metal workers and or with building trades, a lot of times, probably 2 or 3 times throughout the year, we've put on full career apprenticeship fairs and so that we can network with the community there. I'd love to be welcome to career days at a school system or a school function with maybe the military and, you know, Parkview and Lutheran, and I'd love to be in that format. But you can contact and get on our website at NEIBT.org, Northeast Indiana Building Trades.org. It would be a great way. There's a terrific website on there with a easy pathway into and contact over 18 different building and construction trades and talk with their apprenticeship coordinators and or opportunities through that way. Yeah.
So I also agree. I also am part of that with Daryl.
Absolutely.
And through the building, the BCA job fairs, we'll set up booths, and there'll be multiple trades working there. We did it out at the fairgrounds this year. I set up a couple different exercises for carpentry. The masons were there. Kids were actually laying brick. We did a nail driving competition and a race. They loved it. I picked up probably four young people, and they're starting with my company now. What we also do is I'll hit high schools. I'll contact the guidance counselor and say, hey, let me come in and talk to your wood shop. Let me come in and talk to automotive, or if they offer that. If they don't, I talk to the ag kids or anybody else who wants to be in it. I'll talk to them and I'll tell them about what we do and how we do things. And then I'll get a couple takers from there. So once we go to that next step and they're interested, I schedule a ride along with them. And just, you know, a lot of the high schools give college visitation days. They'll do a job shadowing day. So they'll spend an entire day with me. I'm on the road 3 days a week. So they'll get in the truck with me. We'll go around and we'll hit multiple different job sites. I'll show them our work. I'll show them Daryl's work. I'll show them sprinkler fitters' work, elevator work. I show it all to them. Operating engineers. I don't specifically focus it on what Wygant Construction does because there's so much out there that they don't know. And a lot of times that gets them thinking. And I've been very successful on getting young people to come into the trade that way.
Great, wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for the last 40 minutes of discussion. It was so valuable. And just as a reminder, you all will stay here, and now we're going to go to a different room, and you'll have another set of speakers come from different industries to talk with you. And if you could join me in